Hello everyone, today I'm working on this nice SD40-2. It's a Bachmann Spectrum and I'm going to do a little bit of a review for you. I'll give you the strong points and the bad points of it. It's the same drive system pretty much as a -8 40C or a -8 40CW. Now the -8 40CW that I've had, they've all been okay, but the -8 40C, it has problems with the gears cracking. And on the Bachmann SD40-2, I only have two of these and all of them seem to have the gears that are okay. So I bought two engines as a lot on eBay, and both engines needs work. This one, I think it's going to run like this. So I'm going to go put it on the track right now, and we're going to find out if it runs. So it sort of kind of wants to run. And that's good news, because that means I'm going to be able to fix it. So it definitely needs help. So the strong points is it's a good runner, especially when I'm going to be done with it. So it'll run great. The bad points is the hood is just too wide. It just doesn't look right. So unfortunately, it's a great runner, but it doesn't look like much. When you go and buy one on eBay, I wouldn't pay too much for this. Of course, they are still, though they don't look like much, they're still fun to run. So decide on your own if you like to have one of these. I'm going to show you how to clean it. The shell removal, this one's broken, so you just have to pull on it. It'll come right out. Usually there would be two screws here holding it down to the frame. You can see on the top there is the circuit board with the two lights. So normally you would have to remove the bottom screw here. Start with that. This one's a little bit stripped out. There. So start with that. And then you'll see the two screws here and here to remove the shell. This is a split frame, so it's actually that's one of its advantage. It's actually a smooth runner, easy to work on. So I'm going to remove these two screws, and we're going to take a further look inside. Now, just like a Kado, they have separators, insulators to protect the electrical continuity. You don't want to have a short circuit, that would be bad. Because it's not a really good looking locomotive, I don't spend too much time cleaning the shell. I'm just not into it. So as you remove the two halves, keep track of the insulators. So there's one here for below the gas tank, and there's two little spacers here alongside the screws. We definitely want to keep track of these. This is why I like these so much, because the worm gear is part of the truck. So as you take tight curves, the worm gear angle to the gears stays consistent. So that's a very good design that I appreciate. Everything looks to be in its right place. This looks to be like a good little engine. Just needs a little TLC. To remove the truck side frames, there's a clip here and here. So that also is very easy. So this one has couplers missing, so that can be good. I'll see if I can have a spare part for that. And then once you have the side frames off, the wheels just come off like that. just come out. That one's been lubrified a lot. It's got a lot of lubrication. And then this one just has to be popped out. Let's go very gently from each side, and it will pop out. Yeah, it's got a lot of lubrication, way too much. So none of the gears are cracked. So that keep track of these things, they're absolutely necessary. Contact strips. These are, unlike the Kado, they go inside. Here's the other contact strip. And this got way too much oil on it. So I'm going to wipe some of this off. Would it make sense to say that the locomotive works better with less lubrication? But here's why. As the lubrication oozes out, it gets onto your wheels and it helps the wheel collect dust and grit and whatever, scenery foam, dog hair, and that gets into your engine and it stops the electrical contact. So that's why you have to put some lubrication, but don't go crazy. So now I'm going to clean my wheels like I always do with my rag. I'm not going to put it under the soap and water. I don't have to remove a lot of the lubrication. This one, it does need a little bit of lubrication to run. So I'm not going to run it under the tap with soap. I'm going to just remove the excess lubrication that's on there. So I'm going to do the 6 other wheels. Okay, so I'm going to put everything back together. So the side frames, you want them to be squeaky clean. The wheels squeaky clean. And then these side plates here, pickup strips, there's a little twist to them. If, I'll focus this in. If it's too straight, then it's going to put too much pressure on the wheels like this, and it'll slow you down. And if it's too square, then you won't have enough contact with the body and you can't transmit the electricity. So you have to bend them so that they're just right. They touch the body, but they don't put too much pressure on the wheels. So I'm going to put everything back together. I'm going to start with these contact strips here. So these fit right in here, and then the other side, and then we're going to do the center axle. So this little gear goes right in here, and then the 2 wheels, one on each side. So take your time, make sure you get everything lined up properly. Try not to drop anything. Yeah, when you work, keep your space clean, and be sure to have a clean floor also, because some of the small screws, they're about the same size as a grain of sand, so you want to make sure that these are okay. So I'm going to move the gear on top a little bit, to make sure that these run smooth. The only way to tell for sure is to put everything back together and go on the track. But so far so good. And then we can put the side frames. So they need the holes for the gears, so they go this way. You can't make any mistakes there. There, so this side's done. I'm going to do the other side off camera. So while I had the trucks in my hands, I also replaced the couplers. Now I'm getting ready to put everything back together. The only trick about these is you make sure that this one is under, this little tab's under the frame, and this one has to sit in the frame. So they're very close. They have a tendency to bunch up like this, and if you get that, the locomotive will still run, but it won't turn. So you want to make sure you separate them as you slide them into the frame. So I'm going to get ready to start that. Now I got my draft shaft installed correctly and the bottom pickup strip installed correctly. Now as I bring the other half of the frame, I want to make sure everything's lined up properly. So before you put the screws back on, you can visually inspect each pickup strip to make sure that they're exactly where they should be. And this one checks out. So before I try it on the track, I'm going to see if it works on the bench. That looks pretty good. So let's see how it does on the track. So it runs okay now, just a little noisy, I'm not too sure why. Well, anyways, it sorta kinda runs, so that was fun to do. So now I can put my shell back on. Since the screws are broken off, this won't be very complicated. And that's it. Now it's time to run some trains. Well, it's up to you to decide whether you want to get one or not. For me, they run well and they pull enough cars. It's just the way they look. See you soon.